Hey guys, what's up? All right, time for a midday market recap. A little early today. We're going to go over some of the trades, the highlights of today. This is day 11 of the small account challenge, and I'm finishing up only $615. I'll show you my P&L here. Uh, yesterday was a great day. Today just was having a hard time getting a lot of traction in the small account. My first trade was on APRI, and today I had my first loss in the small account. I had two trades on APRI. The first one was a $125 winner, and then the second one was like a $200 loss. So I'm down $94 on the name. So the first name that I've closed red, the first red trade, Insure Trader. So that was $615, but then the highlight of today was the $7,391 winner on GLBS. So that puts me up 6,200 in my regular account and 615 in my small account. So today's one of those days where, kind of juggling between the two accounts, I came out well on the upside in my regular account, and the small account, suffered a little bit. So what were the trades I took? What was the game plan for today? Well, actually, none of the stocks I traded today were off the watch list. APRI, CINF, and GLBS were not on my watch list. My watch list today was pretty thin, just because there wasn't a lot that looked good. I was watching NXTD off the watch list, which was a gapper. It was gapping up about 30%, and the float, it was gapping up 36% with a float of 3.45 million shares. So I was like, okay, this one looks good, and there's a headline. So it has what we need. It's low float, it's got news, it's gapping up, it's gonna have high relative volume. The problem is that when the bell rang, it ended up selling off. Just for reference, this has relative volume of 58 times what is normal for this stock. And that's why today's the type of day that I would trade it. I wouldn't have traded it yesterday. I probably won't trade it tomorrow. But on the day that it has high relative volume because of news, it's worth trading. So as the market opened, I actually tried to get in this at 95 to scalp the break of $4, and it popped up to a high of 417. But for whatever reason, my order didn't fill. It was kind of strange because I didn't see the orders getting sitting out there pending. I really thought that I had gotten filled, but I didn't get filled anything. So I don't know what went wrong there, but in any case, I guess it popped up a little faster than I realized, and it just skipped. Must have just skipped over my limit. So no fill on this one, and you know what? Maybe it was for the best because it ended up rejecting that whole dollar. It squeezed up through 4 and then turned around really quickly and came right back down. So for whatever reason, I wasn't able to get in it, and maybe it was for the best. So after that, I was like, okay, well, that was a little bit of a weird start to the day. And then I see APRI squeezing up. And this one, it wasn't on the watch list because I genuinely didn't really like it that much. I was like, it's a $2 stock. I'm not going to be able to get margin on it with my Sure Trader account. I'm not that into it. It just doesn't, I just don't think it's going to do much. But the bell rings and it starts squeezing up. So I was like, all right, well, I will take a stab at it. So I got in this with 2,500 shares at 225, and I got in right basically, as soon as the bell rang, I was in at 9:33 at 225. It pops up to 230, 233, 235, 230, 241, drops back down. I end up selling it at 230 for 5 cents profit, $125 before commission. So not much on that. And then it squeezed up here to a high of 250, and I was like, okay, I'll get in for the $half break. I got in with 2,000 shares at 250, and in the next candle, I'll show you right here, in the next candle, this little red candle here, it dropped down to a low of 238, and I sold at 239. It, of course, pops right back up to 260. So that was my first loss. And you know what? In the big account, I definitely would have held through that pullback. But in the small account, I was like, look, Ross, just get out. Just get out. Don't get attached. Just get out because it doesn't take much for these to go from being down 10 cents to 20 to 30 to 40. So you know what? Just get out. you're just 2,000 shares. I don't want to lose 600 bucks on this, so just throw in the towel. Threw in the towel, took the loss, $200 loss, or $225 loss, and it put me down $94 on that stock. So, that was a little bit disappointing. The loss came at 9.52. But between my first trade on APRI and my second trade where I lost, I took a trade on CINF. And on this one, I traded in both accounts, both my small account and my big account. I found it on the high-day scanner. So let me scroll back here. High-day scanner. It popped up here right around 9:45 on the high-day scanner. And I was like, okay, it popped up at 253. And I was like, okay, look, it's got huge volume relative to normal. 12 million share float is fairly low. So I jumped in this with 4,000 shares at 254. I got right in. 2,000 shares, 250, or 4,000 shares, 254 with my small account, and 10,000 in my big account. It pops up to a high of 67, so I was up, 12 cents. Obviously, I was looking for more. It starts to come back down. I stopped out with my SureTrader account because that was the one that I'm really focused on, and I had bigger size relative to the size of the account. Stopped out $340 profit. So what is that? How many cents is that? Like 8 cents, something like that. Where do I have it here? I know I wrote it down. So 8.5, 9 cents on CINF. And then in my regular account, I lost $861. So what I did in my regular account is I took 5,000 shares at 255 and I added for the break of 260. We popped up to a high of 267, so my average was higher with the bigger position. And then when it came down and it broke here on this red candle, I got stopped out. And so this is an example where trying to trade in two accounts, it's hard, and it's hard to get the same profits in both accounts. Now, this is also goes to show you, like, when the last time we were in Las Vegas, we were trading side by side. Jeff, Mike, and I we're all trading side by side, and despite trading the same stocks, we all have completely different P&Ls because we manage our risk differently. We get in at different times. We take different amounts of different share size, and as a result, you have three traders sitting side by side with different P&Ls. And I'm a trader, the same person sitting here looking at two accounts, trading them, doing the best I can to have them be the same, and I can't because I do things differently even between the two. So, traders who think that you can just like join a service and follow the leader and make money, it's a flawed concept because you can never, there's just so many variables. So, that's why I'm a really big advocate of education and having you guys understand why I get into these setups, what the catalyst is, the rationale, the reasoning, and then you can become an independent, self-sufficient trader. And if you want to trade side by side with me and we are trading the same stocks, that's awesome, and I'm happy for that. But you don't have to feel that you need me, to tell you what I'm going to do for you to be making money on a daily basis. So the entry on CINF, a little high at 254, 255, but I liked it because we were above the 200 moving average on the daily chart. And I thought this is a former runner. It has the potential maybe to break out and open up a bit. It ended up not doing that, but I thought that it did have the potential. So that was CINF, green in SureTrader, red in SpeedTrader. And then came GLBS. Now, GLBS was called out in the chat room. Someone said, hey, take a look at GLBS, right under $6. I think it looks good for a breakout. I pulled up the stock and I was like, you know what? You're right. It does. It looks very interesting here, right under $6. So let me show you guys the spot. Right here is the little consolidation at 6. And this had that big move just the other day on the daily chart, the big green candle, the red candle pullback, and then today was the first candle to make the new high versus the red candle. So on the intraday chart, we had this little consolidation right under $6, right around whatever it was, 9.50. Okay, so when I saw that, I was like, okay, this looks good, and I jumped in 1,000 shares with my SureTrader account at 5.95 or 5.98. It was like right under the whole dollar. Now the problem is that that was the most shares that I could take because this is on margin restriction. I maybe could have taken a little bit more, like 1,200, but I really couldn't take that much size on this. It's a $6 stock. I have $6,800 in equity. I can't take 2,000 shares. I tried and I couldn't. So I took 1,000 shares and I was like, all right, well, I guess we'll just see what this does. And from $6, it ends up going up to a high of 9.46. Now, obviously, there's the hindsight being 2020. I should have just gotten in and held the whole time and put my sell order at 9.46 at high a day. But we don't trade in hindsight, and we can never know how far a stock is going to go. So as it squeezed up here from 6, it popped up to 640, and then it dropped all the way down to 591. I went from being up $500 to break even, actually down like 3 cents. And I was like, okay, this is a little bit of an issue. I'm going to get out. I put my order to get out of that position, and it sold. My short trader position sold in the next spike. Now in Speed Trader, I took 10,000 shares, and I just held it. We popped up to a high of 66, squeezed up. I sold through this first squeeze here, and then we got halted at $7. Now, by the time we were up at $7, I'd already sold all but 1,000 shares. So I sold into that squeeze as it moved up a point. We have the halt at 7. All right. Now we resume trading, and I add for the squeeze out of the halt. And we pop from 7 up to 750, and then we pull back. We pull back and we consolidate, and now we're getting a little bit of a setup on the 5-minute chart. The 5-minute setup was, the really clean one was around 10:30, but there was sort of a small one right around 10:10 for a break over 750. So you can see how there were multiple opportunities to trade this. And I got back in with both my short trader and my speed trader account to scalp these breaks. So getting in with 10-cent stops, 20-cent, 30-cent profit targets. Some of them go further, some of them don't go as far, but just getting in for these scalps. As a result, my commissions in my speed trader account are $287 today. That's a lot. Commissions in short trader, $166. So commissions added up today, but at the end of the day, I was able to walk away with profit. I was able to walk away from the market green with a total of $539 in short trader, which wasn't a lot relative to this move, but I couldn't take big size. And because of the spreads, for some reason, I had a hard time selling on the ask. Every time I'd put my order out on the ask, I wouldn't get filled. And then because of the spread, I would sell on the bid, but then I'd be losing like 20 cents because of the spread. So that happened in short trader. I don't know why that was, but in any case, through these trades, I was able to do pretty well, $7,391 in my regular account. And that shows you the power of being able to leverage. And I couldn't leverage in short trader. It wasn't available. They restricted the margin on it. And so I did the best that I could, but, it was only $539. So today was a day where I was definitely starting to feel a little bit of frustration, even before the GLBS trade. I was just kind of getting a little agitated. I was feeling annoyed that my first order didn't fill. I was feeling irritated that I lost on CINF, irritated that I lost on APRI, and then GLBS came along. I got aggressive, got in there, got the profit, and then I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm still feeling a little flustered, so I'm just going to throw in the towel for today and walk away. So I'm finishing the day up about $7,000 between my two accounts, which is great. The small account's up like 9% today, and tomorrow I'll open right around $7,400. So I'm getting really close to that $8,600 kind of benchmark that I'd set for myself for this month, and I think $10,000 is realistic. and 20,000 by, by 25,000 by March 1st is hopefully going to be in the cards as long as we continue to see good momentum. I'd love to be able to get there sooner, but we'll just take it as it comes, one step at a time, and hopefully I'll have the good fortune of having some solid setups and good follow through. But today was only so-so. It was great on GLBS and kind of crappy on everything else. And even GLBS was a little choppy. On my final trade on GLBS in my large account, I got in at 795. That was right at 1021, and it popped up to a high of 803 and then dropped 70 cents to 731. So it was like I gave back a couple $100 on that one, and it was just kind of like, all right, you know what, throw in the towel, walk away green. It's not hard with the big account for me to size up and do something a little crazy. So right now I'm at $41,000 equity in my big account, plus the gain from today. I'll be at about 48,000, which is up almost, definitely 75% from when I started the year. Getting closer to 100%. Not quite there yet. All right, guys. So let's see. Any questions for today? You guys can hear Bo barking in the background. Yeah, Chris. So, first red day, the hot streak, at least the hot streak of consecutive winners has ended, but today is still a green day. And, it's day 11 of the small account challenge and, finishing green. So you don't have to be green on every single name. As long as you're managing risk and keeping those tight stops, when you do have a loss, it's no big deal. So, gave back a couple $100, but it's fine. And I'm at a point now where even if I had lost 400, I can handle it. The most important part really was the first, the first few days, the first 5-6 days. So Kevin, my stop on GLBS when I first got in at $6, my stop was 580, so 20-cent stop. And then, that one I gave a little bit more room. I knew it was going to need a little bit more room, and I was in my regular account adding into the squeeze, and so I added at $7 after the halt. So kind of managing the risk, knowing that I wouldn't be able to go in with full position right away. And APRI, this one is definitely active today. I mean, it's still moving. Right now, we're tapping the 200 moving average at $4. And, I've got some hindsight regret on this one that I'm a guy who lost money on it despite it being up, however much it's up. I mean, it's obviously one that I didn't fully capitalize on, but this is the way it is. Sometimes you get one that makes big moves but isn't necessarily clean. And the thing with APRI that I noticed is that we've got a lot of dojis happening right in here. So it is pretty choppy. And, Dan, these ones are hard to short also because they're just kind of grinding higher. I mean, it's up substantially. So let's see, the net change today is 165%. So, I wouldn't short it necessarily until you have a really good indicator of a reversal. But yeah, so, and to answer your question there about how I manage my stop, the way I do it is I have a mental stop. So if I know my max loss, I can just press the sell button as soon as I see that number show up. But that means I have to be able to do that. That's like, that's the challenge. A mental stop is only as good as the person who's keeping it. And, it's one of those things, like some people just watch it go lower and just watch it and watch it and watch it. Next thing you know, you're down 400, 800, 1,000, 1,200, and it just gets worse. So you have to be able to cut your loss quickly, and it all comes down to discipline, self-control. You have to realize that over the long term, you can be a very profitable trader and be right only 65% of the time. It's not about being right 100% of the time. It's about cutting your losses when you're wrong. So just cut those losses, keep the losses small, and then, the winners inevitably will be bigger than those losers. All right, so with that, I will let you guys enjoy some lunch, and we will be back at it, of course, first thing tomorrow morning. This afternoon at 4 p.m., we've got a Warrior Pro session, so that's a mentor session at 4 for students that are in the classes. All right, guys, see you later.
Let's be honest. If you made it this far, you must have really enjoyed that video. So what's stopping you? Subscribe right here and get email alerts anytime I upload new content. Until then, happy surfing!